Elon Musk says the fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy. As a therapist who taught grad students empathy for 15 years, I'd like to challenge that thought and dispute it. I work from an attachment and neurobiology-informed lens as a therapist, which is just a fancy way of saying I care deeply about what helps people feel safe and connected. And I've got to say, empathy is the unsung hero of our emotional survival. Emotional survival is actually human survival. Our survival as a species depends on us working together by understanding each other at a deep level. From a brain-based perspective, empathy is not some soft, optional add-on to our humanity. It's wired into us. The brain's mirror neuron system, which is a discovery from the early 1990s, fires both when we do an action and when we witness someone else doing it. That means that your brain actually lights up similarly when your friend stubs their toe as when you do. And it's not just physical pain. Emotional pain, rejection, grief, they activate the same neural pathways as physical pain. In short, we're built to feel with each other. Simply, your brain is wired for empathy. Empathy is the relational glue that gives us access to belonging, which, as decades of research from folks like Dr. Dan Siegel, Dr. Louis Cozolino, and Dr. Stephen Porges show, isn't just pleasant, it's necessary for survival. And secure attachment, which is the gold standard of healthy emotional development, is built on the experience of being empathically understood, especially when you're in distress. It's what allows our nervous systems to settle. It allows our brains to organize and do better work, and their sense of self to take root. The ability to emotionally feel with someone, to tune into their experience, even if it's different from our own, is not weakness or coddling. It's co-regulation. To be clear, empathy is not always easy. It's not clean or quick, and empathy takes energy, especially when we disagree with someone. In our hustle culture, where dominance and certainty are idolized, empathy can feel inconvenient or time-consuming. I taught empathy at a university for about 15 years. I was an 8-week course where specifically I was teaching people how to listen deeply and have people feel seen. At the beginning of those 8 weeks, every year, students would say, we haven't got time for this. When I'm working in the healthcare field, I won't have time for empathy because I'm going to be busy helping people learn how to use their wheelchair or getting them ready to go home. We don't have time for feelings. And I would say, hold that thought. I want you to go through this process and engage with it and give it a shot, and we'll evaluate at the end. I just want you to hold space for your uncertainty and for your skepticism, but I also want you to hold space for the fact that there might be something here. At the beginning, they would use that formula of empathy. I see that you're feeling frustrated because of all the demands of the professors for all these assignments that feel too much. And it would be very cardboard and formulaic, and they would laugh as they use it with each other, thinking it was so corny and how they were showing me up about how dumb this was. And it would just be good to watch them starting to use it. And they would practice in class and practice with their simulated clients. And over time, I started to see them come alive with it. And I would hear them say, oh man, that sucks. You have all those assignments to get done. It feels impossible, doesn't it? It would just become more natural. And by the end, when we would do the evaluation, I would have students say, I've been using empathy everywhere. And my 4-year-old isn't having the tantrums that she was a couple of months ago. We get out the mornings much smoother. It's quicker than we used to get out before. Somebody else would say, I've had a best friend for many years, and I've gotten to know her better in the last 6 weeks than I have in all the years that I've known her. And somebody else said, this empathy stuff, it's like a superpower. It can be used for good or evil. I took a shirt into a store and they said I couldn't return it. And I just kept hearing how difficult it was for them and how I was asking them to do something that was uncomfortable. And by the end, she accepted this shirt as a return against store policy because of my continued desire and ability to stay with her and understand what this was like for her. She said, I have to be careful that I don't use empathy to manipulate other people, because when you see people and they feel seen and understood, you can get them to cooperate with you, even perhaps against things that aren't in their own best interest. And they would realize that rather than getting in the way and taking up too much time and being all touchy-feely in a way that wasn't going to help them get their goals met, it was actually the way to bring future patients on board and to get them to work more effectively with you. Because when people feel understood, they collaborate and cooperate in a way that they can't when they feel like you're forcing them. Lately, we've been seeing big voices like Elon Musk call empathy a weakness. And we see some pastors and public figures echoing it too. They're calling it dangerous or misleading. I just want to say, from both a scientific and a deeply human place, I believe they're wrong. And looking even the theologians that are saying empathy doesn't fit, looking at the figures central to the Christian faith, Jesus, he was a man of incredible empathy. He went to the margins to be with and to get to know and understand the people that other people dismissed. He listened to the stories of the folks that the people in authority judged and criticized. And frankly, they wanted to be rid of them. He went to them and understood them and cared about them in a way that moved the world forward. When we shut off empathy, we don't become stronger. We become lonelier. And we know from the Surgeon General and global research that loneliness increases the risk of dementia, heart disease, depression, even early death. Empathy is key to that sense of belonging, which is important to our health and well-being. Let me be clear, empathy does not stop us from making hard decisions that have difficult implications. But those decisions, when informed by empathy and communicated with empathy, are set up to be more thoughtful and helpful in the long term. Empathy doesn't stop us from doing the hard stuff. Empathy isn't simply endorsement, where you agree with everybody all the time about everything. Empathy is not indulgence, where you let other people get away with bad behavior or hurting you or hurting the world or spending money that doesn't exist. Empathy is making those challenging decisions in light of the perspectives of everyone for long-lasting benefit for the greater good. If you're feeling alone, if you've been told that empathy makes you soft or wrong or too emotional, I want you to know that empathy is your superpower. It may be quiet, it may hurt sometimes, but it is also what makes healing possible. I'm going to invite you to join me in letting us be the kind of humans who don't let the loudest voices shame us out of our softness. Let's be bold enough to feel with each other. This is how we move from isolation to connection. This is how we reclaim our shared humanity. This is how we effectively solve big problems. Empathy is not weakness. Empathy is wisdom. It's the thing that helps us love better, lead better, and live longer. Please don't be afraid to feel with people. That feeling, it's your humanity in action. Take care, friend.